Hi guys, Frog and Toad are back again. This time we have Days with Toad and Frog by Arnold Lobel. Days with Toad and Frog and Toad. Story number 1. Tomorrow. Toad, wake up. Drat. This house is a mess and I have so much work to do. Frog looked through the window. Toad, are you alright? It's a mess in here, Toad said, pulling the covers over his head. I'll do it tomorrow, said Toad. Today, I will make life easy. Frog came into the house. Toad, your pants and jacket are lying on the floor. Tomorrow, said Toad. From underneath the covers, your kitchen is filled with dirty dishes, said Frog. Tomorrow, said Toad. There's dust in your chair. Tomorrow, said Toad. Your windows need scrubbing, said Frog. Your plants need watering, too. Tomorrow, cried Toad. I'll do it tomorrow. Toad sat at the edge of his bed. Blah, said Toad. I feel down in the dumps. Why? Said Frog. I'm thinking about tomorrow, said Toad. So, I think about so many things at one time that I'll have to do too. Yes, said Frog. Tomorrow will be a very hard day for you. But Frog, said Toad, if I pick up my pants and jacket right now, they won't have to be picked up tomorrow, will I? No, said Frog. You will not have to. So Toad picked up his clothes and put them in the closet. Frog, said Toad, if I wash the dishes right now, I will not have to do them tomorrow, right? No, said Frog. You will not have to. So Toad washed his dirty dishes and put them up in this cupboard. Frog, said Toad, if I dust my chairs and scrub my windows and water my plants right now, I will not have to do that tomorrow, will I? No, said Frog. You will not have to do any of it. So Toad dusted his chairs and scrubbed his windows and watered his plants. Washed his plants. There, Toad said. Now I feel better. I am not in the dumps anymore. Why? Said Frog. Because I have done all that work. And now I can save tomorrow for something that I really want to do. What is that? Said Frog. Tomorrow, said Toad. I can make life easy. And Toad went back to bed and pulled the covers over his head and went back to sleep. Book number 2. The Kite. Frog and Toad went down to fly a kite. They went to a large meadow where the wind was strong. Our kite will fly up and up and up, said Frog. It'll fly so far up it'll touch the sky. Toad, said Frog. I will hold the ball of string if you hold the kite and run. And Toad ran across the meadow. He ran as fast as his short little legs could carry him. The kite went up in the air and fell on the ground with a thump. Toad heard laughter. 3 robins were sitting on a bush. Your kite can't fly, said the robins. You might as well give up. Toad ran back to Frog. Frog, the kite won't fly. I give up. We must try a second time, said Frog. Wave the kite over your head. Perhaps it'll make it fly. So Toad ran back across the meadow and waved the kite over his head. And the kite went up in the air and fell down with a thud. What a joke, said the robins. That kite will never get off the ground. Mean robins. Toad ran back to Frog. The kite is a joke, he said. It'll never get off the ground. We have to make it a third try, said Frog. Wave the kite over your head, jump up and down, and perhaps it'll make it fly. Toad ran across the meadow again, waving the kite over his head and jumping up and down. The kite went up in the air and crashed down in the grass. That kite is junk, said the robins. Throw it away and go home. Toad ran back to Frog. "The kite is junk," he said. "I think we should throw it away and go home." "Toad," said Frog, "we need one more try. Wave the kite over your head, jump up and down, and shout, 'Up, kite, up!'" And Toad ran across the meadow and waved the kite over his head and jumped up and down and shouted, "Up, kite, up!" And the kite flew up in the air and it climbed higher and higher. "We did it!" cried Thud. "Yes!" said Toad. If a running try doesn't work, running and waving it didn't work, running and waving and jumping didn't work, but I knew running, waving, and shouting try just had to work. The robins flew out of the bush, but they could not fly as high as a kite. Frog and Toad sat and watched their kite, which seemed to be flying higher up in the sky. Okay, if you look, there's the birds right here, and there's the kite. On to book 3. It's called Shivers. The night was cold and dark. "Listen to the wind howling in the trees," said Frog. "What a fine time for a ghost story." Toad moved deeper into his chair. "Toad, don't you like being scared? Don't you like to feel the shivers?" asked Frog. "I'm not too sure," said Toad. So Frog made a fresh pot of tea, and he sat down to begin the story. When I was very small, my mother, father, and I went out for a picnic. On our way home, we lost our way. My mother was worried. "We must get home," she said. "I do not want to meet the old dark frog." "Who is that?" I asked. "A terrible ghost," said my father. "He comes out at night and eats little frog children for supper." Toad sipped his tea. "Frog, are you making this up?" asked Toad. "Maybe yes, maybe no," said Frog. "My mother and father went to search for a path," said Frog, "and they told me to wait until they came back. So I sat underneath the tree and waited. The woods became dark. I was afraid. Then I saw 2 eyes. It was the old dark frog, and he was standing very near me. "Frog," said Toad, "did this really happen?" "Maybe it did, maybe it didn't," said Frog. Frog went on with the story. The dark frog pulled a giant rope out of his pocket. "I'm not hungry now," said the old frog. "I've eaten too many tasty frog children. But after I jump some rope 100 times, I will be hungry again, and I will eat you." The frog tied one of the ends rope to a tree. "Turn for me," he shouted. I turned the rope for the dark frog. He jumped 20 times. "I'm beginning to get hungry," said the dark frog. He jumped 50 times. "I'm getting hungrier," said the dark frog. He jumped 90 times. "I'm very hungry now," said the dark frog. "What happened then?" asked Toad. "I had to save my life," said Frog. "I ran around the tree with the rope. I tied up the old frog. He roared and screamed, and I ran away very fast." "I found my mother and father," said Frog, "and we came safely home." "Frog," said Toad. "Is that a true story?" "Maybe it is. Maybe it isn't," said Frog. Toad. No, wait. Frog. One of them. So Frog and Toad sat closely by the fire. They were scared. Their teacups shook in their hands, and they were having the shivers, and it was a good warm feeling. Book number 4. The Hat. It was Toad's birthday, and Frog gave him a hat. Toad was delighted. "Happy birthday," said Frog. Toad put on the hat and it fell over his eyes. "Ooh, I'm sorry," said Frog. "That hat is too big for you. We will get you something else." No, said Toad. "This hat is your present to me and I like it. I will wear it as it is." Frog and Toad went for a walk. They walked. But Toad tripped over a rock. And he bumped into a tree and he fell in a hole. "Frog," said Toad, "I can't see anything. I will not be able to wear your beautiful present. This is a sad birthday for me." Frog and Toad were very sad for a while. And Frog said, "Toad, here is what you must do. Tonight you must go to bed and think of very big thoughts, and those very big thoughts will make your head grow bigger, and in the morning your new hat will fit." "What a good idea," said Toad. That night when Toad went to bed, he thought the biggest thoughts that he could. He thought of giant sunflowers. He thought of tall oak trees. He thought of high mountains covered in snow. Then Toad fell asleep, and Frog came into Toad's house. He came in quietly, and Frog found the hat and took it to his house. Frog poured some water on the hat and put the hat in a warm place and it began to shrink, and the hat got smaller and smaller and smaller. Frog brought it back to Toad's house, and Toad was still fast asleep. Frog put the hat back on the hook where he had found it. When Toad woke up the next morning, he put the hat on his head, and it was just the right size. Toad went running to Frog's house. "Frog, Frog, all those big thoughts you said made my head much larger, and now I can wear your present." Frog and Toad went for a walk, and Toad didn't trip at all over the rock. Walk. And he didn't trip over the rock. He didn't bump into the tree, and he didn't fall into the hole. It turned out to be a very pleasant day for Toad's birthday. But wouldn't that be the day after? Because I don't think hats can shrink that quick. But TT doesn't know. Don't quote me. Story number 5. Alone. Toad went to Frog's house and he found a note on the door. The note said, "Dear Toad, I am not at home. I went out. I want to be alone." Alone? Thought Toad. Frog has me for a friend. Why does he want to be alone? Toad looked through the window and he looked in the garden, but he didn't see Frog. Toad went in the woods, but Frog wasn't there. He went in the meadow, but Frog wasn't there. He went down by the river, but Frog wasn't there. He was sitting on an island all by himself. "Poor Frog," said Toad. "He must be very sad. I will cheer him up." So Toad ran home, and he made some sandwiches, and he made a pitcher of iced tea, and he put everything in a basket. Toad hurried back to the river. "Frog," he shouted, "it's me. It's your best friend, Toad." Frog was too far to hear. Toad took off his jacket and waved it like a flag, but Frog was too far away to see. Toad shouted and waved, but it was no use. Frog sat on the island, and he didn't see or hear Toad. Oh no. A little turtle swam by, and Toad climbed on the turtle's back. "Turtle," said Toad, "you must carry me to the island. Frog is there, and he wants to be alone." "If Frog wants to be alone," said the turtle, "why don't you leave him alone?" "You might be right," said Toad. "Maybe Frog doesn't want to see me. Maybe he doesn't want to have me as a friend anymore." "Yes, maybe," said the turtle as he swam towards the island. Turtle's not very helpful. "Frog," cried Toad, I'm so sorry for all the dumb things that I do. I'm sorry for all the silly things that I say. Please be my friend again. Toad slipped off the turtle with a splash and he fell into the river. Frog pulled Toad up on the island, and Toad looked in the basket. The sandwiches were wet, the iced tea was empty. Our lunch is spoiled, said Toad. I made it for you, Frog, so that you'd be happy. But Toad, said Frog, I am happy. This morning I woke up and felt good because the sun was shining. I felt good because I was a frog. I felt good because I have you for a friend. I wanted to be alone to think about how fine everything is. Oh, said Toad. I guess that's a good reason for wanting to be alone. Now, said Frog, I'm glad I'm not alone. Let's eat lunch. What lunch? It got ruined. So Frog and Toad stayed on the island all afternoon, and they ate the wet sandwiches without iced tea. They were two close friends sitting alone together. The end. I know. I love Frog and Toad books too. Which one's your favorite? Have you figured out which one in your friend groups you are? I'm more Frog because I'm more outgoing and wanting to do everything for everybody else. My friends are mainly like Toad. But friends are very special people. And love your friends just as much as you love everybody else. Bye, guys.